property will stay always safe. They will not have to pay anything from their personal assets. So even if all the members die or any circumstances, they die, they become insolvent, they become of unsound mind, the company will never come to an end. It has continuous existence, that is perpetual succession. कुछ भी नहीं होगा company को. Company can come to an end only by the legal provisions which have been laid down under the Companies Act 2013. So there is a legal procedure, there is a proper procedure laid down under Companies Act 2013 that is called the procedure for the dissolution of the company. Somebody's mic is on. And the next feature was the common seal. That in a company, the companies have a common seal. That is, they have a seal which bears the name of the company. The seal bears the name of the company, and this seal will be considered as the official signature of the company. All the contracts, all the agreements which have to be signed by the company or in the name of the company, they will be done only under the common seal of the company. Any agreement or anyone they have to sue or anyone has to sue them, that all has to be done in the name of the company. So there is no relevance here of the members who are taking care of who are the shareholders or the members of the company. It's the board of the directors who are running the affairs or managing the entire affairs of the company. And in a joint stock company, the next important feature was the transferability of shares. Now, this advantage is given to a joint stock company that a person, if he has, she has, if I've taken up my example, if I hold shares, I have the right or I have the privilege that I can transfer them to anyone. Say, for example, if I have to transfer them to Samrit. I have the shares of Reliance today. I don't want to keep them. I can sell them off to Samrit. Samrit is interested to buy. So there is a method we can just transfer those shares to. So these are the best advantages or the common features by which we can segregate what type of organization is this. This we discussed yesterday. So that was a little small recapitulation again of yesterday's lecture. Today we're going to discuss the partnership. What is the difference between partnership and company? Now, the very first, am I audible, clear enough?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Everyone except for Mohit, I got a reply from only Mohit.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm audible.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Now the first comparison, now pay attention students, a very important question, and last year I never gave it a direct question. I don't remember, I still, my own niece, she was appearing for 11th grade BST and she was we stay in the same house and she asked me, how to do it, Chachi? Which two organizations have to be compared? I didn't tell her. So you have to just, like I can give it, that make a comparison between two such organizations in which in one of the form the liability is limited and another one the liability is unlimited. So you have to decide which two organizations have to be compared. So basis of organization comparison. First, which is the act which governs or regulates? In partnership, it is the Partnership Act 1932, and in a company, it is Companies Act 2013. In a partnership, if you all remember, it's not compulsory to get it registered. Parties may get it registered but obviously if they get it registered, there are certain advantages. If they don't get it registered, there are certain disadvantages. But in a company, the registration is compulsory. It's not optional, it is mandatory. Then only the legal status under Companies Act. Here, the legal status, that is partners and the firm, they're considered as one. Whereas here in a company, the members and the company are considered separate. That is, they have separate or independent legal existence. Liability. Do you remember partnership liability? That is
Unlimited.
unlimited liability in a partnership. All the partners are liable for a partnership debts and liabilities jointly as well as separately. That means अगर हमारी partnership है, जितने students are present हैं, तो हम लोग इकट्ठे भी we are liable and individually also we are liable. That means अगर कोई हमारे सिर्फ मेरे पे केस करता है, then I'll have to pay off to that creditor. But the later I can claim it from other partners as well as from partnership firm. That's the case in a partnership. But what happens in a company? The liability is limited. The creditors can only file a case and proceed for their debts only against the company, not against the shareholders, not against the members of the company. So the members of the company, the shareholders, they stay safe in the case of a company. Are these 4 points clear? Regulating Act, registration, legal status, and liability.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt till here? Any? Devansh Bansal, rhythm, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Moving ahead, now the question arises of management. Who manages the affairs of in a partnership? It's the partners. All the partners have the right to manage the affairs of the partnership. But unless we have different types of partners, like we have secret partners, we have sleeping partners, we have nominal partners. But if we talk in general about active partners, we have all the partners who can participate in the management of the affairs of the company. And if one participant of the partnership, he or she has the right to inspect the accounts of the partnership. Nobody can deny him. If I am a partner, but I prefer to be a secret or a sleeping partner, I don't want to be participate in the management of the firm. But then also I am free to inspect the accounts of the firm. That's the company. The members of a company, entire of board of directors, managing directors. The members, I am also a shareholder. That means I am also indirectly the owner of Reliance. Can I participate in the management of the company? No.
No,
So
ma'am.
that is the situation of management in a partnership and a company. Question arises of transferability of interest. Now, in a partners, they cannot transfer their shares to anyone. But if they want to transfer it, they have to see that all the partners agree to it, then only they can do it. But whereas in a company, the shareholders, they can easily transfer their shares from one to another person. And the moment if I transfer my shares to Samrit, Samrit steps in my shoes. So here I am the transferor, the one who transfers, and the other person is the transfer. So Samrit will immediately step into my shoes. That means she will be the real owner of those shares. Now, what are the powers of the partners? In a partnership, the powers are as stated in the partnership deed, or as stated in the partnership agreement, or as decided by the partners amongst themselves. But what is the situation in a company? Now, for a company, we have two main documents which we'll be talking about further when we are talking about the formation of company. The one is called Memorandum of Association, which is called MOA, and one is Articles of Association. which is called AOA. Now, just for a little reference, I'll just tell you that Memorandum of Association talks about, it's a document which lays down all the powers, rules, and regulations in regard to the external management of the company. And whereas AOA talks about all the powers, rules and regulations in regard to the internal management of the company. So these are the two company ke respect mein the powers are of the directors, of the managing directors, of other there are a number of different types of directors. जितने directors हैं सबकी powers are as stated in articles of association. और there are memorandum of association जैसे इन documents में लिखा हुआ है वैसे the powers are being enjoyed. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
As stated in the partnership deed, as stated in MOA and articles of association. Clear, everyone? Okay. Talking further, what is the situation in case there is insolvency of the partners? Now, in case the insolvency of the partners, it immediately brings partnership form to an end. But in case the members they become insolvent in the case of a company, it does not affect the continuation of the company because it has perpetual succession. In a partnership, we need minimum 2 members, maximum 50. And in a company, if we talk about two different types of company, private and public. प्राइवेट में मिनिमम 2 मेंबर्स चाहिए और मैक्सिमम 200. पब्लिक में मिनिमम 7 और मैक्सिमम देयर इज नो लिमिट. एंड ओपीसी में 1 person is the minimum, 2 persons are the maximum. This is also a basis of comparison. Authority of members. Each partner in a partnership firm is an agent. He holds dual position, mutual agency, जो आपको सबको पता ही है. But company में it's nothing like that. It's not that, क्योंकि जितने एग्रीमेंट साइन होंगे या जितने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन होंगे that will be under the common seal of the company. The board of directors have no authority कि वो लोग अपने नाम पर कोई भी एग्रीमेंट साइन करें. So they cannot bind anyone with the decisions taken by them. Although all the decisions are taken in a board of directors meeting में decision लिया गया है, जो भी contract sign होगा वो company seal के अंदर जाएगा. Directors के अकेले sign के साथ कुछ नहीं होता. So a shareholder is not an agent of the company and has no power to bind the company by his acts. I am also owner of Reliance. Or Reliance cannot bind me कि Mala is a shareholder and so we bind Mala with this much liability. No.
मैम अगर उसकी हम लोगों ने जैसे 10 to 12% शेयर्स खरीद लिए उसके बाद तो हमारा कुछ रोल हो सकता है.
It depends how much shares. Now if I give you an example of Reliance, do this activity for the weekend. How much shares Mukesh Ambani and Neeta Ambani, how much shares do they hold? 75,000 shares हैं उनके पास. So it depends how.
50% है ना.
So it actually depends what is the authorized capital, how much is the paid up share capital. We will all come with these terminologies. But for your activity, you can take up 2 companies. सब जाने, please don't take Reliance and Tata. There are many other companies. You can just see, Google आप किस company पे काम करना चाहते हो. Preferably take Indian companies because here we are not doing any foreign company or multinational companies. Right? They are under different set of rules and regulations. They're called foreign companies. So just take up 2 to everyone and then just do analysis. Can you do that activity?
Yes, ma'am.
So a shareholder is not an agent of the company. A company cannot, or a company has no power to bind the shareholder by his acts. But फिर मैं यहाँ repeat कर रही हूँ, although not in your syllabus, little going out of it, there can be circumstances where the Supreme Court has said lifting the corporate veil. Not going into much depth of it, but yes, there is something called जहाँ पे शेयर होल्डर्स जिनके बहुत ज्यादा शेयर्स होते हैं उनको लायबल किया जा सकता है. Okay, so the last basis of comparison is dissolution. How does the company come to an end? How does partnership dissolve or come to an end? पार्टनरशिप अलग अलग तरह की होती है. फिक्स ड्यूरेशन, पर्टिकुलर ड्यूरेशन में पर्टिकुलर काम हो गया तब पार्टनरशिप खत्म हो गई. फिक्स ड्यूरेशन में द ड्यूरेशन इज ओवर, सो द पार्टनरशिप कम्स टू एन एंड. 2 years है, 5 years है. Partnership at will, when the partners they wish to bring it to an end. But in a company, it cannot be brought to an end as according to the wishes of the company or according to the wishes of the shareholders. No, there is a legal procedure which is laid down under the Companies Act. Usi ke accordingly, it can be wind up or it can be. Without that procedure, it cannot be done. So if I show you, everyone, we have made a comparison between partnership and company. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just have a look, everyone. On what basis did we compare? This is 5 point, 6 point, 7 point. It will be forwarded to you, don't worry. Moving ahead, 8, 9, 10. And then we have 11 points where we have made a comparison between partnership and company. So did you understand what is the difference between a partnership and a company? Everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Anyone, any doubt? Can I move further? Can I move
Yes.
further?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we are going to make a comparison between SP, sole proprietorship, HUF, cooperative societies, and company. Now, again, the same method we are doing it. That is basis of comparison का एक. You put it into rows and columns like this, and then you make a comparison. And when you're making a comparison, it has to be on the same point first. Remember, everyone. So when we are talking about formation, it is easy to form and less formalities. HUF is easy. There is no need for registration. Cooperative society, it is compulsory to be registered and it is not optional. In a company, it is again the lengthy and expensive process of formation of the company. Regulating Act. What is the Regulating Act for sole proprietorship, everyone?
नहीं है कोई.
And for HUF? For HUF, Hindu Succession Act
1956.
2005 now. 2005 now after the amendment. Cooperative Societies Act, Companies Act 2013. So formation, then we have the Regulating Act. Then talking about the members. We have only one owner in a sole proprietorship. And in an HUF, minimum 2 and maximum there is no limit. Cooperative societies में minimum 10, maximum no limit. And here company we have already done. Private में minimum में 2 and maximum 200. इससे ज़्यादा नहीं हो सकता. Public में 7 minimum 7 and maximum again there is no limit. capital. If you make a comparison, sole proprietor has the limited resources with himself. HUF has only ancestral property with him.
मैम अगर कोई बाद में नई प्रॉपर्टी खरीदे तो वो नहीं गिनाएगी कैपिटल?
Yes, क्यों नहीं आएगी? But it depends. See, again I'll tell you. See, there are two brothers. Now AS1, AS2, AS3. This is son of A. Okay. So let's take, for example, BS1, BS2, BS3. Now the question arises when the new property is bought, in whose name it is bought. If it is taken only in the name of B, then that property, suppose this property is taken only in the name of B. This B property becomes an ancestral property only for BS1, BS2 and BS3. It will not be for AS, A2 or A3. So then we have further cases like their son and daughter, then their son and daughter. So that question is very important, in whose property and who has bought the property and out of which funds or which capital he has used in order to buy that. Has he used his personal money? So there are many factors to be considered. ठीक है मोहित?
Yes, ma'am.
अभी बात आती है कि capital which is with the company. Company has the maximum, the large capital available, huge capital available with themselves. Why? Because they issue shares, that is, they invite the public to buy the shares of the company. So public invest in their companies. So they are able to raise funds. Liability, it's a sole proprietor. So he has unlimited liability. Here Karta has unlimited. Partnership may be unlimited liability. In these two cases, it is limited liability. So, because in these two cases, they have separate legal entity. If the point is not there forward, separate legal entity का आप add कर सकते हो. Now, moving ahead with the next, control and management. So please add, I think this point is not there, separate legal entity. Add कर लेना. Liability के साथ ही add कर सकते हो. Separate legal entity, SLE. Coming up in control and management. So SP में single person है तो who has the control? In whose hands it's the management? In whose hands it's the decisions and the secrecy? One person है, so the secrecy is also managed by the affairs are also managed by him, secrecy is also managed, decisions are also taken by only one person. Whereas here the head of the family is the Karta, so he takes all major decisions. Cooperative society may we have elected managing committee. Here we have the board of directors. So there is a complete separation between the management and the ownership. So next point is continuity, or you can say perpetual succession. It is affected by the death, insolvency or insanity. It's a stable business unless and until the members do not ask for partition. जैसे ही partition हो जाती है, Hindu undivided family comes to an end. But in these two cases, again, they have perpetual succession, separate legal entity. So very major point which has been, I think, missed out from that is the motive. So he wants to earn sole proper profit for himself, profit for the family. This is for the welfare of the members. This is the only organization which works for the welfare of the persons. This is also in order to earn profit. And earn profit, along with that, they divide they give the dividend to the shareholders. जितने सबका शेयर है उसके हिसाब से उनको डिविडेंड दे दिया जाता है. That means they have share in the profit of the company. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes.
Anyone? Any doubt?
मैम कंटिन्यूटी में एचयूएफ में अगर पूरी फैमिली में कुछ हो जाए तो
It comes to an end. It comes to an end. If all the male members, all the female members, they pass away or they meet with a major accident or कुछ भी, it comes to an end.
मैम और कर्ता सिर्फ एल्डेस्ट मेंबर ही बन सकता है क्या?
नहीं, no. I told you there has been a Supreme Court decision कि junior most member भी बन सकता है, but again if all the members agree to that. Even a woman can be a कर्ता now. पहले वो concept था कि हाँ भी senior most member ही बनेगा. Clear? Can I move further?
Yes, ma'am.
Last, we are making a comparison. When we will do the types of companies, students. The types of companies, we are doing only 3 types of companies in this chapter. That is private companies, public companies, and OPC, 1% company. Next chapter में शायद we'll have another 2 companies, statutory companies and government companies. So we are approximately only doing 5 types of companies and not much in detail. But then we will make a comparison between what is the comparison between public and private limited companies, OPC and SP में क्या फर्क है, 1% company and sole proprietorship में क्या फर्क है, right? So when जैसे जैसे हम topics we'll pursue further, we'll make comparisons again. यहाँ तक clear है everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm taking up LLP and company now. Now, if you all remember, I had told you that LLP has taken the best advantage of partnership also and the best points of corporate world also. You remember that? कि partnership में सिर्फ एक drawback उनके लिए सबसे बड़ा था unlimited liability. तो LLP में they have got best features of partnership and leaving aside that unlimited liability feature उन्होंने छोड़ दिया LLP में. और क्या ले लिया? Limited liability concept of the Companies Act. So if you all remember, LLP is a concept where all the members have, जैसे name बताता है, limited liability है. Except for one member, except for one, all the members have limited liability concept. So this was an act. This is an act which is called. So it is LLP is governed by Limited Liability Partnership. That is 2008, which was published in the Official Gazette on 2009. So according to LLP, it should be a body corporate and a legal entity separate from. This is the best one feature of LLP. Okay, it enjoys a status of separate legal entity. And it even enjoys perpetual succession. That means it is not affected by the death or insolvency of any of the members. In an LLP, there are 2 minimum members required, maximum there is no limit. So just in order of making a comparison between, we cannot make a very broad comparison between JSC and LLP, but I have taken up private limited company and LLP. Registration point is clear. We know it. It is LLP Act 2008. It is Companies Act 2013. This much is clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Now here it is a separate legal entity. That means they are not personally liable for the liabilities of the company. Here also it is a separate legal entity. The partners of LLP are not personally liable for the liability of the LLP. But there is one partner who has unlimited partnership, unlimited liability concept. Here in a private limited company, only the maximum limit is 200, minimum 2. But here LLP में it can be unlimited members. Now, अगर जब आप LLP और public limited companies करोगे, तो you will come to know कि what is the difference. Public limited companies, they can issue shares to the public. Private limited companies, they cannot issue shares to the general public. हम private companies के shares नहीं खरीद सकते. हम सिर्फ उन कंपनी, yes, but there is one advantage कि private limited companies कभी भी they want to turn to public limited companies, that is when they are prepared, जब उनको लगता है कि हमारी companies are so popular and we can get a good feedback from the society, they can convert themselves into a public limited companies and they can issue prospectus in the market or they can issue shares in the market, जिसको हम कहते हैं initial public offering, IPO. Has anybody read about it? IPO, initial public, जब पहली बार कोई कंपनीज अपने शेयर्स इशू करती. सो वी हैव LIC, जो बजट में कहा गया कि LIC अपने शेयर्स इशू कर रही है. देन वी हैव कल्याण ज्वेलर्स, जो अपने IPO फर्स्ट टाइम इट इज गोइंग टू इशू इट्स शेयर्स. यू कैन ऑल रीड अबाउट IPO, initial public offering. Please students, read about it. Let's make it little interesting for you. Okay, can I move further? So here the maximum numbers is unlimited. Moving ahead with it. So audit. Now this is an important point of comparison between private limited companies and limited liability partnership. Now here, private limited companies, it is compulsory that if the outstanding loan of their company is more than 100 crore, they have to submit their financial audits. But 2020-21 के अमेंडमेंट के बाद ये रूल लेकर आए हैं. उससे पहले प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनीज को अपने ऑडिट रिपोर्ट्स नहीं देनी पड़ती. अगर आपका 100 करोड़ से ज्यादा है तो आपको अपनी फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्ट सरकार को देनी पड़ेगी. क्लियर? Now, what is the case in a LLP? If see, here they have to give their audit if the condition has been laid by, again, the LLP Act. That if your turnover is more than 40 crores, then only you have to do it. Otherwise, you do not have to submit your financial audits. Audits for the inspection, you don't have to send it. This is the basic major difference between a private limited and the LLP. Private limited companies will have it higher documentation, lengthy procedure as compared to LLP. LLP will take little lesser time, but although in a LLP also, there are many legal formalities to be done because it is under the Act and it is mandatory to get it registered. Now liability. Liability only to the extent of unpaid capital. जैसे मैंने आपको कल बताया था, जितना unpaid amount है, अगर आपने 10 रुपए का शेयर लिया, you have paid 5 rupees, your liability is only 5 rupees left. So your liability is only to the extent of unpaid capital. Whereas in an LLP, the liability is to the extent of agreed contribution. Agreement में sign करते time आप अपनी liability को limited कर लेते हो. मेरी liability सिर्फ 50,000 है. The second partner says मेरी liability सिर्फ 70 lakh तक है. So their liability is limited only to the extent what is agreed at the time of agreement or at the time of entering or starting a LLP. So उनकी liability क्या होगी? इस तरीके से limited हो जाती है. Last feature is whistleblowing. In the private limited companies, there is no concept of whistleblowing. But in an LLP, there is a concept called whistleblowing. That in case any of the employees or any of the partners in in an LLP, they help at the time of investigation, the protection is given to them. But there is no such protection given in the case of private limited companies. Is it clear, everyone? Anyone? Are you there in the class? Clear, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So now these were the comparisons. Was the screen not visible? Okay, stop sharing. Okay. Now, today, this is the comparisons which I have done. Tomorrow, we are going to take the merits and demerits of joint stock companies. Then from Monday, we will talk about different types of companies and how they can be formed. Right? So it's little lengthy, but read about it. If you have good stock to talk, I give the lecture to you. You can take the entire period. कि मैम हमने ये share the information with me. मेरी भी थोड़ी enhance हो जाएगी knowledge along with you. What do you say? So read about the companies, read about whistleblowing, which the new words you have learned. So I forward this PPT. I'll forward it to you, but जहाँ तक मैंने cover किया है, वहाँ तक आप देख लेना. Just don't go with the entire slides, otherwise you will get confused, right? So I'll forward it today itself, so that you can do comparisons well. So all the comparisons go into your registers, everyone. So wishing you a good day ahead. So time to say goodbye. So bye everyone. Any doubts you can ask. Thank you everyone.